welcome, to a Roto Slapper Short. I am Streetz. You know who this is. He don't need no introduction. That is Matty, Daddy. And we are here to talk about he's been good. He's been bad. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. But he's a hot topic right now because you used the top 30 pick on him in redraft. And that's Calvin Ridley. Ups and downs, peaks and valleys has been the name of the game. Whew. What are you doing with Calvin Ridley, Matty?
I think that's real tough for Calvin Ridley. You're looking at a guy who's 28 years old, who's looking like the wide receiver 2 on his own team. After he fired off the gates, we've had 4 games under 7 points in fantasy from Ridley. That's 4 out of 7 games. This guy has not even been worth starting on your team. It's tough in redraft. I think you got to pivot at this point for the 28-year-old receiver. In Dynasty, you're looking at a guy who's on a 1-year deal, prove-it deal. He's going to become a free agent next year. We've heard all camp reports how this guy was just an elite route runner. He still had it. Maybe it's just a situation where he's getting accustomed to everything. But with Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback, I could see him getting a discount to stay in Duval County next year. So in Dynasty, I'm probably floating a short offer. But in redraft, is pivoting off of Ridley, selling Ridley, the right move to make?
Depends on what you can get. For me, I guess it would. What can I sell for him? If I can recoup wide receiver 2-ish value, like
right
in a 2 for 2, maybe is how you kind of got to do it. Maybe you give up Ridley and a running back, and you get a better wideout back. You know what I'm saying? One of those 2 for 2 type deals. So maybe that's how you would do it. But I don't know if I would just sell for pennies on the dollar yet, because it's a tough one. That offense has just been very, very, like, Trevor Lawrence is a game manager right now out there. That's what he's been doing. He is, I hate to say it when we're talking about Calvin Ridley here right now, but he's 20th in yards per attempt and 24th in air yards per attempt. Like, he's using the short area of the field in short intermediate passes. That's why Christian Kirk is eating. And Calvin Ridley's on the outside. And Calvin Ridley is the one who has saw A.J. Terrell and Marshawn Lattimore and all that other thing.
Right.
But he's seeing the most. Calvin Ridley has ran more routes versus man coverage than any other wide receiver in the NFL. And because of the offense that they use, he only has a 17% target share against man coverage. So they're not even targeting him in those situations. So with Calvin Ridley, if you can't sell and get something decent back in return, I think he's usable in the right matchup. If the other team has a good corner, at this point, I think you're going to bench him. But yeah,
I think a good question is to float out a couple receivers in redraft in Dynasty. With it being fantasy football, I say we can kind of interchange these guys for redraft in Dynasty. Let's start with the rookie we talked about on waivers, Rashee Rice. Would you rather have Rashee Rice in redraft in Dynasty or Calvin Ridley?
Ooh, I would take Rashee Rice in Dynasty.
Okay.
I'd rank him ahead. I don't know where Calvin Ridley is going to go next year, and that's the reason why in Dynasty I would. I still, that doesn't mean I dislike Calvin Ridley. I still probably have them both top 30-ish options, top 35 options. So it's not like they're being kicked to the curb. I just don't know where he's going, and I know Rashee Rice is staying with Patrick Mahomes. So in Dynasty, I would rank Rashee Rice ahead of Calvin Ridley, but I'm not sure in redraft I would do that yet. I still probably put Calvin Ridley ahead of Rashee Rice.
Here's another one that's kind of been on everybody's mind. We haven't seen him really break out a ton so far this year, but he's with the DK Metcalf injury, with things kind of happening for Seattle. Tyler Lockett, we saw him put up 7 points, 4 for 38 last week, but you're seeing no DK Metcalf, probably out maybe another week or two. How do we feel about Tyler Lockett or Calvin Ridley?
Yeah. So if DK, who missed his first game of his career, too, wild, does miss extended time here, I like Tyler Lockett. I like JSN. I kind of like them both. Man, even a deep flyer, Jake Bobo, is that his name?
Yep.
Who kind of played the DK Metcalf role in that game, not Tyler Lockett, as wild as that sounds. But I feel like Tyler Lockett, his days will be there. I feel like they kind of took the pedal off the metal in that game. I watched the first half. They look great. Gino was on fire. He hit JSN on that nice one, Bobo on the next one, and then they kind of like played it pedestrian the rest of the time. And Tyler Lockett entering that game was like expected fantasy points per game was like 15 or 16. So it's been much higher than what he's done out there on the year. So yeah, if DK Metcalf misses any time, I love Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing right now is you're looking at, I think I looked at points per game. Ridley's 41. So if you can get a Gabe Davis, a Tyler Lockett, a little bit more boom potential, that's still those wide receiver 3 values. And hell, you might be able to get one of those guys and upgrade at another position at tight end, at running back, at quarterback. That's the move to make. And then in Dynasty, like you said, we don't know where he's going. Don't pivot off any young receivers. But if you can give away a second, unknown second, I do it. If not, I'd hold off. He is 28. His value is probably going to get cheaper as the season moves on. I think that's what we got here in Calvin Ridley Streets.
I agree. I would do that.